of honor.
This is like we have a local celebrity with us.
Right.
This is awesome. So, all right, real quick, just self-introduction. Give us your name, who you're with, and what you do.
Sure. My name is Mike. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of Drone Deploy.
You're the reason we're here, as a matter of fact.
So he's the reason why all these people are here.
Exactly. But we do want to thank you for being
I was the tree that fell in the forest that eventually.
There you go.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, man, I have a lot of questions for you. Let's start out with what motivated you to start or co-found Drone Deploy?
Oh, that was a while ago. So I actually used to fly RC helicopters back in the day.
Yep.
And this is 2009, 2010. I used to build them. They would come in little boxes and you build them up and then you'd have this flying lawnmower. It was incredibly dangerous and not useful commercially at all. But over time, I started attaching cameras to them. I used to hack these little cameras, attach them to the helicopter.
Yeah.
There were no little things to do it. You had to build it all yourself, and I would go and take aerial photography. Yeah. And actually, my first kind of customer, I was working at Google back in the day, and they saw my aerial photos of the city in Dublin where I was living, and they said, "Hey, we're building a bridge between two buildings. Can you get some aerial shots of it?" Oh. And they're like, "Hey, we'll pay you money." And I was like, "Well, I work here. I'll take some photos." And that was the start of the journey.
Wow. And you know what I really appreciate? You kept that short and sweet. You didn't go on like a 10-minute rant.
Yeah, right.
How this all started. Well, that is really, really cool. So when did Drone Deploy officially become a thing?
Officially 2013.
2013.
Wow.
So we're going on, 11
years.
12 years here before too long. Just again, summarize if you can, but talk about the evolution, like what it looked like in the beginning and where you're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you really rewind, you take me back in time here. In 2013, we just knew drones would be useful commercially. We didn't really have a strong opinion where we were three tech guys. We all knew each other from college. The two did their PhDs in machine learning. I got a real job and bought the drones. And we were like, hey, somebody's got to make these drones easy to use tools. Let's go and make a mobile app that makes a drone fly and collect data. Yeah. And we'll see along the way what data it was. And in the first few months, we're like, we're going to collect all these different types of data. But very quickly we learned to do anything well, you got to focus for a while. So we started by just building an app that you could press a button, it would launch a drone, make it fly where it needs to fly, and create a map. Yeah. And that was the genesis of Drone Deploy. We launched it kind of commercially in 2015. I started charging money for it in 2016, and now we got a bunch of people coming to our conference.
Yeah, just like that.
What a great story. So give the listeners, a brief synopsis of what Drone Deploy does and the value that you guys are providing your customers.
Yeah, so now we're much more than making maps. We think of ourselves as a unified reality capture platform. It's a place where people come to understand what's actually happening on their job site. And they're doing that both with drones and creating maps and panos and videos, uploading into our system, but also capturing ground data. So it's 360 cameras and basically creating, it's Google Earth and Street View of your job site today.
Great summary.
Yeah, very well said.
Yes. And it was funny, we were having a brief conversation before we started recording. I mentioned that I'm a professional land surveyor by trade, and you made it very clear, we're not surveyors, but we work very closely with surveyors, right?
Yeah, we've got a ton of surveyors using our product.
Yep. And
we've got a lot of people that use our product and work with surveyors. Mm-hmm. And so you can imagine the standards are very high. And that's a big thing that we're talking about today is Drone Deploy is on this journey to try and make our data as accurate as possible. And there's a lot of steps between making a drone map and actually getting something to survey grade. And we're not going to take everyone all the way to the end. We can take them a long way there. And so we're trying to build a product that by default provides inch-level accuracy. And that's a lot of technologies put together, like making the product just work with RTK and PPK, and we work with Trimble on that, but also doing things like helping our customers set their projects up right first time.
Yep. Awesome. Did you have something?
No, go ahead.
I'm taking up all the airtime here.
Yeah, no, go ahead. No, I'm just really curious on what's the. We get to talk to the guy who knows what's coming up for the next 5 years and what's got what don't we know, and where do you see this going? It's already gotten this big, and you want to continue to provide a good tool, but where do you see the evolution of Drone Deploy?
Yeah, that's what we're here to talk about today. And the way that we think about our products is we're trying to build the future of reality capture. and deploy that to job sites with our customers. And we kind of have three pillars in our product set. The first one is what we call unified reality capture. So our biggest customers are GCs or oil and gas companies, energy companies, and they're looking for one place to understand what's going on, what's happened. We're not the plan, we're the what's happened. And so they want to see their drone data, their ground data with 360 cameras, with iPhones. They want to get their laser scans, their fixed camera data all in one place. And so we think about that as unified reality capture. That's our biggest differentiator as a company. And then up next is automation. People want to have all this data. They don't want to do all the collections themselves because sometimes people are collecting it twice a day. Just imagine doing 2 drones maps a day of a single site. And so they want that done by robot. And so we support a bunch of robots to that, dock drones, ground robots. And the third thing, of course, it's 2024. We're going to talk about AI. Both my co-founders.
Just going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
I think what people would say about this conference is kind of cool is we're not just talking about AI. It's going to be great. We're actually delivering real products. And so today we launched 2 really cool products that take the data you're already uploading to us to make maps and walkthroughs and just give you AI insights. And the first one was Safety AI, where every time you upload 360 photos to us, we analyze every single photo for safety problems. And we present you back a report saying these are the types of problems you had. Here's a photo of it. Maybe you had people using the ladder incorrectly, or there were holes in the ground that were not cordoned off, and we just show you where those are, and you can actually see across all your job sites what are the biggest types of safety problems you need to train your team on. That was the first big safety AI product. The second was a production product. How much progress are you making in your production, in building your building?
Sure. Yeah. So, would you say drone deploy is a product or a service, or is it a combination of the two?
It's a software product.
It's a solution, Kent.
Solution.
You and the solutions,
right?
You got to call it a solution. It's a software product. It's a subscription. People pay by the year. We don't make hardware. We just sell the software. And obviously, there's a service attached to it. The software is really important, but also the people and the support, etc., that comes with it is critical.
Well, and that was one of my questions: is talk a little bit about how important that is. I mean, you've got all these great tools. How do you get people to understand how to use them and what they can get out of them?
I mean, the first thing is you got to try and make it simple. That's where we start. Yep. And as a company that's always been a pillar in how we build our product, is I want to make it so my mom can use it. But that can only take you so far. And so particularly in your area of surveying, it's complicated. Coordinate systems and
surveyors are complicated.
They make it so hard, right?
There's a lot to it, and that's because it is really important, and accuracy is highly important. So the big thing we just talked about today is we have a product that's mostly just works. You press the button, it will do the RTK or the PPK corrections for you. You can achieve a very high level of accuracy. But you've also got to think about what you're comparing that data to. Like, what's the right coordinate system that you're using? What are the reference frames you have? When you bring in data to compare it to, is it all going to line up? And so we've just launched a product where we actually have people to help you. So there's a person to walk you through how do you set up your product, your job site in the right way, selecting the right options when it comes to coordinate systems or custom coordinate systems, help you upload all the data so we can get it right first time.
That is huge.
Yeah, because I'm sure you just can't, like you said, you want to be this unified solution, and you're getting all these data sets from all these, like you said, drones and laser scans, but I'm assuming you just can't just dump it to you and it spits out exactly what you want. I mean, you need to set it up the right. I mean, I know that's what that's the idea. That's the goal. But you want to set it up the right way.
Totally. And I think it's an interesting thing is I've been learning. I don't have all the answers. I've got way smarter people to understand this more deeply. But it's fascinating that if you go and collect data in the drone world, and you might have RTK today, tomorrow you might use PPK from a different system. The next day you might use GCPs. Using a receiver that might be working in a different coordinate frame. Like, how do you combine all that data so when you compare those data sets, they're inch level accurate?
It's the classic garbage in, garbage out.
Totally.
Yep. So you mentioned you have smarter people than you doing that stuff. Talk about
debatable.
talk about your team. I mean, everybody I've met from Drone Deploy has just been very, very pleasant to speak to. Talk about the company culture a little bit and kind of the people you have. 30,000 foot. What does it look like in your mind?
We took a drone view of the personality. Those are always the hardest questions. Like asking you, what's your personality? We have about 260, 270 people at the company. located all across the US and across the world, New Zealand, Australia, team in the UK now.
Wow.
And yeah, it's good to hear they're pleasant people. I think we got a bunch of people that are super smart, but also humble.
Yep.
And they're hungry. They want to make shit better.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about the language, but
No.
they want to
Totally allowed. No judging.
and we want to move fast to help our customers as much as we can. It is an awesome company to work at in the sense we've got fascinating customers that work at all these amazing industries, and they're literally people that power our world. They feed us, they build the buildings.
Yeah.
One thing I remember hearing from one of my co-founders was he said that if you look around you, everything around you has either been grown or mined, then built, then energized.
Yeah.
And that's the customer set that we work at, and they all do incredible work with
That's
our products.
cool.
Yeah. So cool.
I got one other question because you said something. You had your two other founders were getting their PhD in machine learning, right? And that was 11 years ago.
Wow.
How has that evolved? And then, like, is this how they thought? Is this what you guys as a team thought you would do with that much brain power behind machine learning?
It's funny because you come here and you see there's 400 people here and there are all these amazing companies, and just at Google just talking about how they use our products on 40 sites, and yeah, it's hard to imagine those things when you start. You're just putting one foot in front of the other, and the starting premise is like somebody's going to make this product simple, make it easy to use drones and get the data they need and share it, and that could be really big. Like, how many drones and robots will we see on the job site of the future? And the premise from day one was like, look, there's probably going to be 20 years, there's going to be more robots than people. And who's going to be the company that actually orchestrates those robots and makes them work? And how do we enable the people on the ground to get the robots to do all the dull, dirty, and dangerous, so they can focus on better stuff and operate safely and get home to their families in time?
Yeah. Did you see the new Tesla Optimus?
Yeah.
It's pretty slick. It's
going to be a few years. But there's definitely going to be more robots. They're coming.
It is progressing.
And it's not going to be, it's rapid, but also it's like one of those things that every year there's a bit more.
Yep.
And one thing I've encouraged everyone around here to do in Phoenix is to use a Waymo.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys use one?
I'm super cool.
I'm a super user at this point.
And what's amazing for me is like you get into that car with no driver, which is weird for the first minute.
It is.
Still weird, but yeah.
But the second minute you're in there and you're talking to your partner or whatever, it's normal, and you're like, I feel safer in those cars, and they are 5 times safer than a human driver. They're 5 times safer than me. They are. It's a high quality experience because they drive well, and it's kind of cool just to be in your own space. And I can use that time in a better way. So it's incredible to see the robotics driven by sensors like we use in reality capture, and the AI, the same technologies, really transforming how we do things.
And what's wild is because I've been using them since they've been available, and the reach is already getting bigger around the area. But not only that, the detail in the map, you can see, like when we first started using them last year, I think it was about 1 or 2 years, it was just boxes for the buildings. And now you drive through the neighborhoods, and now it's like, oh, you can see their fence and their sidewalk, and I mean and now it's not just a little dot for a dog, it's the actual dog, and like, I mean, you can see the models of the cars, not just a generic van. Cool. It's wild how it learns, and it's using because they're just collecting data the whole time. That's all they're doing, and then feeding it right back through.
And can I tell you, the most awesome thing for me right now is that they are now doing 100,000 rides per week. And that's up 2x, doubled in the last 3 months.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, they're everywhere now.
And it's interesting. It's a parallel to us because it's robotics and AI and sensors, and these things start off slow, and at first they're not great. They have some challenges, and they don't show you all the things. But over time, they get better and better. And before you know it, people notice it's like, oh my God, where did this come from? And it's like we're on that upswing with this set of technology with drones and robots, where hey, it's not every customer, not every job site has one. But give it a few years, it's going to be doubling every couple of years.
So exciting.
And that's the thing to remind people, like, it is still learning, and it's constantly learning.
It's an AI.
Just think like, oh, it couldn't make a left turn there. Like, well, give it a couple months, and it'll figure out how to make that left turn.
We like to say about our product, it's the worst. Today's the worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
That is awesome. So before we let you get out of here, so what keeps you excited? What's your motivation? What gets you out of bed every day?
I mean, as I was saying, we're super fortunate to work with this incredible technology, with this incredible set of customers, people that are doing amazing work, that make the world work. And we get to help them and give them, one way we like to think about is we give them little superpowers. We let them fly above their job sites. They can teleport anywhere on their job site. They can now get data to whatever to inch-level accuracy in ways that with the simplicity they could never do before. So we want to just keep doing that.
And I have to add, and I really like the AI, the safety component, because anything that you can do to help people do that job safer, it's got to be rewarding, I'm sure.
I mean, it's a big thing, like with safety and also our Progress product, is we just saying that the time that somebody's working on their desk creating a report, we can eliminate the secretarial work. We can do that for them, and we can get those people on the job site actually coordinating, actually making things happen, time and tools.
Yeah, definitely. Really good stuff, Mike. Anything you want to say or get out there before we let you go?
Well, I'll just say, hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for coming. And for anyone listening, go to dronedeploy.com and see what we have to offer. If anyone's known us from before, you'll probably see we do probably 10 times more than you remember.
Wow, that's cool.
Growing a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, hey, the worst they're going to be is today.
Yeah, that's right.
come at us at our worst.
Yeah, right. Really appreciate you having us, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
It's great.
Thank you very much.
That was great.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I know it's great. Yeah.
When you get Dan on, you should talk to him about you were talking about the deeper technical stuff that might be interesting to your audience. Like how does this stuff work? What do you need to take into account? And I think he's actually got a great radio voice. He used to be the